Welcome, it's Crafty Carol here with another video. This is a little bit of a complicated card, but it's just a complete wow card. So this is one I've already made. It's actually for my parents' anniversary. So I've made the box to go with it as well. And this is the card, and I'm not actually sure I'll be able to show it you all. So this one, well, we'll see. So this one opens up, and this is the beauty of it. So this one, I hope you can see it all. This one says happy anniversary, but it's called an accordion card, and it just has all of these pieces of card with the letters on that open right up in the way you've seen that I can't really show on this. So let me put that to one side. Where can I put it where it's not going to be in the way? I'll leave it over there. So I'm going to show you how to make that 2-layer card. You can actually make one in 3 layers as well. I have actually made one of those for my husband, and 3 layers allows you to put the name on. In fact, it's over here. Let me just get it and I can show you that one. So this one I have to wait until after all of these dates before I can put this video up, but hey. So this one is for my husband, who's a bit of a car fanatic. So this one is his special birthday. This is the 3-letter one. So this is happy 65th birthday, David. So I'm hoping that most of that is in shot so you can see it. So that is the very special one I've done for him. So I'm actually making another one for my brother-in-law because it's his very special birthday as well. It is his 60th birthday, so that is the one I'm going to do today. And I'm just doing a 2-letter one, so I'm not putting his name on it. Just put that one over there where he can't see. So what pieces do you need for this card? Well, thanks to the glorious Jan Brown, who I got all the measurements off. She did one a few years ago with a Christmas one. Which is lovely. So for the 9-letter card, which is all I need for birthday. Birthday has 8 letters. I want 9 because I'm putting happy space 60th. So that needs 3. So that's 8 plus a space is 9. So I'm doing a 9-letter card. And for this, I'm going to give you the measurements for the sheets. But just to say, if you want more flags, more pieces on, then you need to add on 1.5 inches for each extra flag, each extra panel that you need to put on. So for the anniversary card, I added a total of 3 inches because I needed 2 more flags. I needed 11 for anniversary if you count the letters up. So that's how to adjust it for different numbers of letters. But if I'm doing the 9 card, I'm going to start with these pieces. So my first piece of cardstock here is 5 3/4 inches by 11 3/8 inches. So you do need the 12 by 12 card to do this piece. And the second piece of card you need is 5 3/4 by 10 5/8 inches. I've already scored this one, so you can see that. I'll show you how to score the other one. They're scored in exactly the same way, just one less line on the smaller piece, obviously. So I'm going to use my scoreboards. Hopefully that's in shot. So you're going to start off with the first score is going to be at 4 inches. So we move to 4 inches on the scoreboard, making sure this is nice and square, and just run the stylus down that particular channel. And then you're going to just go every 3/4 inch. So the next one is 4 3/4 inch. Then we have 5 1/2, 6 1/4, 7, 7 3/4, 8 1/2, 9 1/4, 10, and finally 10 3/4, which leaves us just the flap at the end, which enables us to stick the bits of card together. So I shall be speeding up some of the bits of this video because you don't want to see me do all of that. So the first bit I'm going to speed up is me folding the card. But just to say, so these bigger panels that haven't got any of these score marks on, this is the front and the back. So the first fold needs to be a mountain fold from the front side. Then we're just going to concertina it. So we're going to go, I want to make sure these are lining up every time we do it. Let me just move it off that piece. So this one, as I fold in, I'm going to make sure that the sides of my card are even as I fold it, because we want this to be as neat as possible folding these. So we're just concertinaing all of these folds. So you'll end up with two pieces looking like that, and the next thing to do is to stick them together. So you're going to stick this one over there like that to make the join. So I'm going to just use some Tombow. I prefer Tombow in many ways because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm all for wiggle room, me. So again, make sure this is nice and straight, and make sure that as you push it down towards the base, you're not covering the fold, because you need it to be able to bend. There we go. And just make sure that's stuck down firmly, and then all the folds will come together. There we go. So that has formed our base card. I'm not going to put that away because I'm going to need it in a minute. So that's how it should look. And again, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. As I said, adjust the dimensions before you start if you want different numbers of cards. So the next thing is to make the panels, and you need an awful lot of pieces of these. So I have made quite a lot of them up already. I've just got one to make up to show you. I have used a contrasting coloured card for the base. You could use the same colour card, it's totally up to you. And this piece of cardstock needs to be 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Then you need a piece of white cardstock. If you want a layer there, you could get rid of this layer if you wanted, but I like to have the extra layer around there. And that piece is 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. And finally, your piece of designer series paper, which is 2.5 by 2.5. And you then simply spend a fun half hour sticking all of these together. And it might take that long. It does take quite a long time. Again, I like to use Tombow, so I've got a little bit of wiggle room because these are cut, so there's just a narrow little margin all the way around, as you can see. Which I'm using that side, yeah, so I need the glue on this side. And you could use a mixture of DSP if you want. It depends how much you've got. Again, this takes quite a lot. I do have a PDF tutorial of this card with lots of pictures, so you can't go wrong. And you can get that from my shop on the website. So here we have all of our cards. Now, how many of these do you need? You need for 9, then you obviously need 18 because you've got 2 layers. So you need 18 of these completed squares. So once you've got those squares done, we're going to stick them on. And how they run, as you've seen from the cards in a minute, one runs one way and the other runs the other. So you're going to stick the top one, well, it doesn't matter which way around it is, but one of them you're going to stick to the left hand side of your V, and the other one you're going to stick to the right hand side of your V. And these are cut and shaped so that you can have just a little tiny gap between. If I push it flat, you'll see. So there's just like a little millimetre, basically the same size as the overlap on your panels, just at the top and the bottom and between the two. So the next stage is to put all of these together. So I'm going to start with these bottom panels. So how I do it is I just place it where I want it in the position top and bottom, and then I can use glue and be very careful to make sure the glue does not go outside where you want to stick the panel. So I'm sticking the panel to this side of my V, if you like. So I'm going to place it there. I'm going to make sure I've got the little gap this side, and then I know that it's going to be right the other, and I make sure it is. So she just adjusting it, there we go, right into that fold. You can use the bend a little bit to make sure it's pushed into the fold. Then I can squeeze it to make sure it's stuck down. And that's my first panel. So I'm then going to go on and stick the others again onto the right hand side. If we have it this way, I've got left and right for each of these. On the right hand side of each of my V's, I'm going to stick. So then this is the next one, so I can put my Tombow where I want it to stick. Then I've got my panel. Be careful if you've got directional DSP. You really don't want that to, you don't want to mess that up. So it might be worth laying out your panels before you start. And then when I'm putting the second one on, the subsequent ones on, I'm making sure that the sides line up with the one I've already put on. And then again, I can squeeze them together and make sure that they are held tight. And you can check again that you've got them even there from the top. So hopefully you can see that. So I'm going to go on and stick the rest of these panels, then we'll come back and do the other side. So that's stuck all my panels down to one side of it. Now I need to stick them to the other side, and remember they're going to go on the opposite side of here. So I'm going to do it this way around because it's going to be easier for me to do it and show you. So for this one, again, just use your glue. You know it's going to go that side. And so now we place this first panel on and we make sure it's straight against the edge of the card. And press down, and that's the first one, and that's the one I'm going to use. So you can see I've got a little gap between my two panels, tiny little gap this side, tiny little gap at this side. So now I'm going to go on and put the rest of these panels on, and again I'm going to speed up the video because it's boring watching this happen. Okay, so I've just got the final one to stick on, so you can see they're both running different ways. This is my final one here, so I'm just going to put that one on. Again, making sure I just touch it to the fold and make sure it's lined up with the other panels, because then when I squeeze these together, it should look as if there's just two panels. Okay. So there we go. So that is the card put together. All we have to do now is stick all the letters on. So there's still quite a bit to do. And the little tip, and the reason I have not stuck the letters or numbers on before I started, is that you can see that when this card lies flat, you just see about half of each panel, apart from the front one of each side. So when you're sticking letters on for, say, happy birthday, need to make sure they're on the right hand side of these panels and on the left hand side of these panels. So I've already cut out all my letters, and I've cut them out from silver foil, and I've already stuck adhesive sheets on the back, so it makes it easy for me. So I just need to take this is the fiddly bit, of course, getting the adhesive sheets off, but so I'm going to fiddle, and of course I won't be able to do it easily because I'm doing it on video, which is always a problem. So I just want to show you the first couple so you can see what I'm talking about. So unfortunately, the letter dies that I use for these cards are no longer available, which is a shame. I do hope they come back at some point because they are just brilliant. I love these large letter dies. So nobody's getting my set. So because I need to have it on this side, I'm going to line it up on this right hand side. As you can see, might even be worth not starting with this first one, I suppose, but I want this to say happy 60th. So that was the first letter, so I've put it over on the right hand side, and it looks odd because you sort of feel you should have it in the middle, but let me show you why it's important not to, because this one will only show on this side here, so I need to have this here. Do you see? So if I look at that one, you see how it's again on the right hand side. So make sure on the row where you've got your panels pointing to the right, you need them on the right hand side. The bottom one, you need it on the left. So if we do the, where's my B? Somewhere I have a B for birthday. There we go. So if I do the same with the B, and you'll see where I put it on the other side, and this is the vital thing. So I do hope you can get either hold of or can beg, borrow or steal some of these dies, because they really are fantastic. I do wish, I'd love Stampin' Up to bring these back. I think they're just something that everybody ought to have in their kit, to be honest. So for birthday on the bottom row, I need to have it on the left-hand side again, so it's going to show just in the centre there. And you can see how much easier it is not to have to glue each of these individual things. Adhesive sheets are a wonderful thing. So I'm going to carry on putting all my letters on, and then you can see the final version in just a minute. So this is the final letter, the Y. And if you want, you can put another symbol on here, might put a heart or something that the recipient likes. So one of my ladies that came to my live class where we made these, she was making one for a football fanatic, so she put a little sticker of a football on there. So you can do whatever you want, or make it an 8, which just means that one of the pieces needs to be 1.5 inches smaller, and then it would be 8, but it's up to you, totally up to you. So that is all of the letters. So it now says happy birthday. So that is the card finished. So now we've got to decorate it, and the most important thing to do first is we're going to put some ribbon on, because the card itself doesn't sit shut. It's got, these tend to bounce up, so ribbon on tends to help. So I've cut a piece of ribbon, and you need roughly 21 inches of ribbon. What's that in centimetres? No idea. So I don't know, quite a lot. I want to have plenty so that tying the bow is easy, and it's important to stick the ribbon on before we actually decorate the front of the card, because I'm going to stick the ribbon across the front of the card. Now please remember, you only stick the ribbon to one side, because if you stick it to the back as well, you can't open the card. So you must only stick the ribbon to one side. So I'm just going to use a piece of tape here, so just so that it's held on. So I'm going to put a piece of tape across the middle here. This is a piece of wide tape I happen to have in my stash, so put that on because it's quite a wide ribbon. I wouldn't use 2 small pieces of tear and tape. So just get that end off. There we go. And I'm going to stick the ribbon down. I want to make sure it's roughly straight. There we go. So stick my ribbon down on there, and then remember, you're just going to wrap it loosely around the back to tie it, because do not stick it on the back whatever you do, because it won't open. So to decorate the front, you're going to need 2 more pieces of cardstock. So you can either just use DSP and a white panel, for example. I've used my two colours again. So I've used my early espresso, and that piece is 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. And then my piece of designer series paper for the front is, no, hang on, let me get that right. What was my cardstock? Let me just measure it to make sure. It might have been 3 5/8 actually. No, it was 3 3/4. So this, my early espresso piece was 3 3/4 by 5.5. And then the DSP sheet was 3 5/8 by 5 3/8. That's right. Again, I've done it so it's got the same border around. And then I've already stamped from, again, some retired sets actually, but they suit my brother-in-law, who's trying to make friends with a feral cat at the moment. So this was useful. And the sentiments are actually from other sets as well. That's from the Wildlife Wonder, which is still available. This is a retired one, as is that stamp. It's from the same set called Senior Years, which, given my age and the age of most of my friends, I still use quite a lot, so I kept that one. And this was from Hello Kitty from many years ago as well. So that is my friend, and all I need to do now is stick that on, and my card is complete. So I shall just stick this on the front, just giving a double check I've got it the right way around. Yes. So again, I'm going to stick that onto the front, just fits there. So up to you whether you do a white panel on the front or what you want to do. I personally like to cut out images to stick on the front of these. I think it looks good. And then we could just tie it up and hold it together. Now, when you're tying this, you'll notice it still wants to open up at the back. So what I actually do is you can either hold them together with your fingers, or what I, oh, my ribbon very twisted there. There we go. Either hold them together with your fingers to tie the first bow, or I actually put them between my knees. I find that the easiest way. And then we can just tie, I can trim the ribbon in a minute, tie that, and that is your card made. So I hope you have a go at this card. It looks incredibly complicated. It is time consuming, just simply from cutting all the bits and sticking them together. But actually it's far simpler than it looks. And then next time I'll be back to show you how I made the box for these cards, like the one I showed you here for my parents' anniversary card. So just a box and a lid to match, and I'll be back to show you how to make those for this card and how to measure and do it next time. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to subscribe to my channel, that would be great, and you'll always catch what I'm making. And check on my website for lots of other news, and also if you want the PDF to make this in all the detail, then please go there to my shop on the website. See you soon. Bye for now.